Entrepreneurs and small business owners, are you feeling overwhelmed by lack of capital, growth challenges, or personal branding? You are not alone. UCS Advisors is here for you. We're professional capital raising advisors committed to helping you secure funding and grow your business. Are you ready to impress investors? Check your investor readiness with our free 45-second quiz at ucsquiz.com. We believe in you. Visit ucsquiz.com and start your success journey. And remember, always be willing to achieve your greatness.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Greetings from the Garden State. I'm your host, Mike Ham. We are here in Atlantic City, New Jersey, our last episode down here in this stretch of 4 weeks that we've been down in Atlantic City. We're at Tony's Baltimore Grill, legendary spot with Joe Palumbo. Joe, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So thanks for having me. We were just talking about it, and I figured it might as well do it like live on the actual show. This is my first time inside Tony's.
Okay.
And it's so cool. Like the 24-hour bar thing, which obviously like is significantly like an Atlantic City thing.
For sure.
I've definitely run into a couple of those over the last couple of days. But this is great. Like it's just a cool spot. It's been here since what, 1927?
In Atlantic City since 1927.
Okay.
This spot has been here since 1966, actually.
Okay.
They moved from the inlet around Connecticut Avenue. It was the address was actually 604 Atlantic Avenue, and they were there from 1927 to 1965. This was a bar previous, forget the name of it, but when we took it over for a year,
Sure,
to redo it the way we wanted to do it, and then it opened in 1966, and we've been here since.
Yeah, no, it's really cool, and it has like I was telling some of the episodes that we've done in Atlantic City so far, and like between like you guys, Doc's, and the Claridge, and those are like three places that have been here forever.
Yeah.
You know, and it's to me, like that's one of the coolest things about Atlantic City is like there are some places that through all like the ebbs and flows of the city as a whole and all that kind of stuff, like there's some places that just have stood the test of time, you know, and it's significant.
For sure. Like you figure that the depression was the first part.
Yeah.
The wars and then the pandemic recently.
Sure.
And these places are still thriving.
Yeah.
With even the casinos coming in the 70s, they still stood that draw to people and still were off the boardwalk. You know, we're not on the board. We're 2 blocks from the boardwalk.
Right.
And able to still kill it.
Yeah.
It.
Yeah. That's really cool. And, you know, I think like we were talking about it on the Doc's episode and just like when the casinos did first come in, like all these like local spots that have been here for forever and what was made Atlantic City like an attraction for people, obviously, because there wasn't really gaming before that, you know, like kind of pushed a lot of them out. And then like the communities kind of took a hit because of that. But it's just cool to me. And that's what I find so interesting about Atlantic City is like places like this that just kind of, you know, have held it down for so long.
Yeah. And people like generations have come through here. Even our customers today, they were like, my grandmom took us here when we were kids. We used to come here for every Christmas Eve, every Easter, birthday parties. There's like sometimes 4 generations that come through the door, just to have a meal. And they've been coming here. When the high school used to be on the island, they would come after basketball games, after football games, and people still talk and share their stories with us.
Yeah,
every night. It's not just like a once in a while thing. Every night, someone said, "I've been coming here for X years."
Sure.
Fill in the blank.
Yeah, that's got to be so cool.
Yeah, I mean, stories. Like you meet so many cool people just from the fact that grandmom and grandpapa or even great grandparents and brought their kids, and then their kids brought their kids, and it's still like you see the young kids now coming in, and they're like 1 or 2 years old, and it's like this is their first pizza joint. And we're considered the oldest pizza joint in Atlantic City. So, it's awesome meeting all these people that just come here and they've been coming here for years.
Yeah, and I gotta think, you know, considered the oldest pizza joint in Atlantic City, puts you probably in the top of the state. Mostly, I would imagine.
I mean, we were featured on Anthony Bourdain's trail of places in New Jersey to eat. So I mean, like that's a cool thing that we hang around on, and like he loved it here, and
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Really were you here for that?
I was not.
Okay.
Before me, he was here. I believe it was in 2016 or 15.
Yeah.
That's around there, when he did his trail.
Yeah.
But it was really cool. Like there's pictures of him with.
It was with Rich Voss and his wife.
Yeah,
McCarthy or something, or
yeah, and there was one of the guys, Chris, that used to work here.
Yeah,
I think was featured in that picture.
Cool. Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I'm a big fan of his, and just kind of like his whole vibe, and you know what he did and all that kind of stuff. What do you do here?
I'm one of the managers. Okay. I oversee, the prep, making the list for the prep, managing the kitchen staff along with the floor staff, our servers, our bartenders, and just running the shift, making sure the food's going out properly. I run the expo window during the nighttime, during dinner, just to keep it, making sure everything's going out with how we want it. We want to be proud of what we serve.
Yeah.
If something's not right, I send it back before it hits the table.
Sure.
And hopefully I catch it before it hits the table.
Yeah.
A lot of times if I walk away or something might slip by and then someone says something. But yeah, I just make sure, staff's doing what they're supposed to be doing, interact with customers, making sure they're happy and enjoying it. And it's a lot of fun, actually. It's like my day job is really a teacher.
Right.
And I do that during the school year, but then this is a different classroom.
Oh, yeah.
Different students. Yeah. Just run it like my classroom. It's just, it's just different age group.
That's What do you teach?
Special education.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Here in Atlantic City?
No, actually in Galloway.
All right. So not too far. Yeah. No, that's really cool. And I'm sure, if you were to do a whole day of teaching and then that's gotta be a pretty full
day. But but now that it's the summertime, it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
Just having one gig going on. But no, it's a lot of fun. I love the staff. I love working with the guys in the kitchen, and sometimes I hop back in there if I have to, just to help them out. But that's where I started, was in the kitchen. So
but you left out probably the most important piece of your job, for at least my purposes, is the face of Tony's Baltimore Grill right now.
Apparently, yeah. I mean, when our furniture was stolen last summer, I was interviewed by three or four different news. It was crazy. It was one Instagram post, and then it was in the newspaper, and then it was national news for some reason. And we actually ended up getting it back, but it was just funny. It was all these people are just showing up saying, hey, we want to interview here. So it was all right, here I go again. It was but it's fun.
I remember seeing that whole saga of the stolen outdoor furniture. And it was just the Instagram stories and all the stuff that was getting roasted and looking for
it was hilarious.
Fake tips and all that kind of stuff. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have fun with our social media. We try to keep it real.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. A lot of people hide behind closed doors and they don't want to, show their true self, but we try to keep it real. We promote other businesses in the city, outside of the city, wherever we go. We're always, we want everyone to succeed.
Yeah.
Everyone's in the hustle. Everyone's in the game. It's not like it's a competition. We know who we are. We're proud of who we are. And we want to get other people to be proud of what they do.
Yeah.
So that's why we have these pop-ups. Like today, we have my mom's coming in here with pierogies, and she's killing it in Philly. And so we bring it to Atlantic City, and we've done it with some other cool people that you just meet. Hey, let's do a pop-up together. And it's new to here because everyone's so used to what we do here.
Yeah.
And now we're bringing these other businesses that come in just for a day or even 2 days.
Yeah.
Just to have a good time and have different kinds of food and just promote them. And we've actually gone and done 2 pop-ups ourselves in Philly.
Oh, cool.
One in Herman's Coffee in South Philly, and then we did Foreign Cafe out in Kensington, and it was awesome. It was fun.
No, it's really cool.
You meet people that come down here to come visit us, and then we go there, and then they still come visit us while we're up there.
Well, it makes it easier to get it than driving down here. I do want to go back to kind of when you started here, but before that, I do want to talk a little bit about the people that work here, because you had mentioned the customers that are coming in. A lot of times it's generations of families that their grandparents brought them, their parents brought them, whatever, or they remembered having this pizza when they were 8, something like that. But then there's been people, my girlfriend just told me, because someone else told her, that there's a woman back there that's been here for 40 years in the kitchen, and
she's not in the kitchen, she's a server. She's a server.
Okay.
So she's been here since 1979.
Wow.
Her name's Karen. She's been featured, actually. A radio show just picked it up because a couple came in here and they said they hadn't been here in years, and she was their server on their first date, and she's still here. So 44 years later, she's still serving. She'll probably be, I think she's working today actually, so she'll be here in a little bit. That's her right there.
Oh,
I
cool.
heard her laughing. So she's been here since 1979.
We
had one of the guys that ran the kitchen, Fred. He just retired last October. He was here 52 and a half years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know, yeah, like our one opening chef that he passed away last year, he was here for 30 years. You know, our opening chef for 22 years. So,
yeah.
I mean, the longevity of people here. We have a bartender that's been here since like 91, I believe. We have another cook that's been here since like early 2000s. So it's like people that work here, they usually stay here.
Yeah.
And they're generational people that, you know, they see the kids that now have, you know, grandkids.
Yeah.
You know, for her sake, she's had, you know, multiple families come here that know who she is, and she remembers a lot of them too. So
yeah, that's cool. Impressive too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's so interesting to me too, because like in the restaurant world, because we've done a bunch of restaurants for the show, that's like not always the case.
Right.
You know, like there's turnover, people find different jobs, you know, like kind of cycling through. Yeah. But then to be a place like this that's been here for so long and has maintained kind of like the quality for sure. I think that does speak to it a little bit too, because you have like a lot of the same people that have been here and like part of this community and family and like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it really is a family, and we've had some longevity people. We also have the turnover, you know, they for here for a couple weeks or a couple months, and then, you know, they find something else or whatever, it just wasn't for them, and that's cool too. You know, they still come back and visit us. We still, you know, we're still cordial with them and everything, and we hope the best for them if they go and succeed somewhere else. But yeah, like having these people, they're like bricks, you know, the founding bricks of this place that, you know, they're part of the fabric of this community that we have. And that's why we don't change the recipes. Like the recipes are still the same. Like when we came in here in 2020 that, oh, it's going to be all new. And no, we've actually brought it back to when it was.
Yeah.
The previous group of owners put in a white floor. They took out the checker floor. We put the red and black tile floor back in.
Yeah.
We put the coat hooks back in that were taken off the booths. We put the sconces back. Well, we had them actually fabricated, but there was Home Depot house lighting, porch lighting around this place, and it's just not what Tony's is.
Right.
So we had these all fabricated and put back in to feel like the original Tony's that was here from '66.
Yeah.
So, and these pillars of these people that have been here, everyone knows who they are. Everyone knows who Nino is. Everyone knows who Karen is. You know, Fred. All these names that people just know. They recognize the face. And even when Fred comes in, you know, he comes in a couple times a week just to hang out or, you know, manage a morning shift just to help us out.
Yeah.
People still come in and say, "Hey, can you make my pizza for me?" Yeah. He's made so many pizzas.
So many pizzas.
It's got to be in the millions. I mean, we sold 70,000 pizzas last year.
Yeah.
You know, 70,000 plus. And that was just in a year. And he's had his fair share of
50-something years. Like
52 and a half years. It's a long time to
I'm not a
pizza
guy, but that's a lot of fucking pizzas.
That's a lot of pizzas. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. So also like with you, I mean, like obviously like when you first started here working in the kitchen, how long ago was that?
It was actually during the pandemic. I was home from school. I was like, what am I going to do for the next, at the time, what am I going to do for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
And then it was like, all right, well, now we're here for a month. And I actually joked with my office staff when I was leaving the last of March 16th. We had our last day of school. And I was like, all right, have a nice summer, everyone. And they thought I was joking. And I was joking. And then it turned out to not be. Yeah. Right. Have a nice summer. So I started in May of 2020. And I was in the kitchen until the following, I guess it was like winter time. I started having more of a managerial role and took that on just so I could learn the kitchen and know the ins and outs of that before I'm telling people what to do or how to do it.
Sure.
Or correcting what they're doing. I wanted to learn how to do it myself.
Yeah.
So at the time it was all takeout. So when I first started, like I didn't know how to plate food when we started opening. I was like, oh my gosh, now I got to plate it. Like it was like totally different world because you just to-go containers was like the only thing we did.
Right. Throw it in.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So, and that was fun. But, it was like, it was a cool chance to get to know the guys, get to know like the ins and outs of what we're doing here and to learn how to make the recipes. And like, we still have the recipe book out every day. Like we don't just do it by eye or by feel.
Yeah.
And that was one of the problems they had prior to us coming in here. It's just the recipes weren't the same.
Right.
And customers even said that. They're like, oh, the meatballs taste different. The sauces taste different. It's been the same sauces and the same meatballs forever.
Yeah.
Even the house dressing is like the same that we've had forever. So it's like now we're following the recipes and people are now coming back and they're like, oh man, it tastes so good. It's so much more consistent. And that's because, our people, we want them to care about what they're doing and also love what they're doing at the same time. And, the prep affects the kitchen affects the staff, the wait staff affects the customer, and ultimately we want the customer to be happy.
Yeah.
So it's not just the server's job to make them happy. It starts in a prep kitchen, and then goes to the kitchen, then goes to the wait staff.
Yeah.
So.
And I think it's also important too, like, you know, just to what you're saying, just taking like, you know, all these people that have been coming for so long as customers, and then like if things all of a sudden just kind of go out and like like the space changes, and like to me, like certain places that we've had on have been like old school spots like a Tony's or like Donkey's Place in Camden or places like that. But then there's other places that are like, I feel like Doc's kind of fits that, where it's like historic, but also kind of like pulled into like a modern thing too, which is a tough balance for sure.
Yeah, I think they're considered the oldest restaurant in Atlantic City.
Yeah, I think so.
Original restaurant. And to be able to change with the times.
Sure.
Like it's something that you have to really be delicate. Like it'd be like if we took these jukeboxes out, people would revolt,
lose their mind. Yeah,
absolutely. Like it would just be crazy. And they still work. Some of them don't, but I mean, they still work and they still like whatever.
Even just looking at it,
it
just like
very
adds
cool
to the whole experience. You know, like you feel like you're in like an old school Atlantic City spot, which you are.
Yeah,
you know?
Definitely. And so like that's why we don't want to change anything like that. We want to keep it the same.
Yeah,
it's part of the fabric of Atlantic City, and that's why we say like the people of Atlantic City are the people that own this place.
Yeah,
because they deserve it. They've worked all this time to keep it going by putting their hard-earned dollars in to keep us going.
Yeah,
and that's what we take pride in, is really like making sure they're happy and they have a great experience. And like the people that, you know, don't have a great experience, we try to make them have a great experience later, and we try to make it up to them. So we're constantly in contact with customers, and everyone's going to be a keyboard warrior. It's easier to, you know, blast you on Google reviews or Yelp or whatever, but we try to reach out to those people and say, hey, what can we do better?
Yeah.
Can we buy you dinner? Like we'll send you a $50 gift card or something like that if something's not cool or something.
Just for everyone listening, like don't just do that to get a $50 gift card.
Right, for sure. Yeah, and the first question we always ask is, well, did you talk to a manager?
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, they didn't.
Right.
And so we could have fixed it right then and there for them. If something happens, like when I walk around or you know, Mike walks around and says, hey, how is everything? If they say something, we say, all right, here, let's do this for you.
Sure.
We try to make it better for them
right
then and there. But yeah, it's crazy how, you know, people just love to just blast people.
Well, you know, you've been around for so long, you're bound to get a couple, you know.
For sure.
You know, so...
and you try to give it right back to them. Like I said, like, you know, if you see some of our Facebook stories or our Instagram posts, like, you know, we're not gonna sit back and say, "Oh, okay,
sure, just take it."
Yeah, you know, if you're coming for battle, you better be prepared. Like, if you want to start, we'll go
for sure. Okay, so we're gonna take our break.
All right.
So we'll be back, and I want to talk all about the food. I think in the second segment.
All right, cool.
Pizzas, all the stuff that you guys do here. So this is the Greetings to the Garden State podcast. I'm Mike Ham. We're here at Tony's Baltimore Grill in Atlantic City, New Jersey, with Joe Palumbo. We'll be right back.
The Mayo Performing Arts Center is the heart of arts and entertainment in Morristown, New Jersey. MPAC presents over 200 events annually and is home to an innovative children's arts education program. To see MPAC's upcoming schedule of world-class concerts, stand-up comedy, family shows, and more, head to mayoarts.org or just click the link in our show notes. Bored of going to the same park? Want to try a new local adventure? Well, then check out njspots.com, your home for finding a new spot to discover right here in New Jersey. With dozens of maps to check out, local hiking spots, family-friendly places, and seasonal suggestions, NJ Spots is waiting for you to find somewhere new to explore. That's njspots.com.
All right, we're back for segment 2 of this episode of Greetings from the Garden State. I'm your host, Mike Ham. We're here at Tony's Baltimore Grill in Atlantic City, New Jersey with Joe Palumbo. So first segment, we learned a little bit about the history, kind of like what goes on here, the longevity of some of the staff and the customers that have been here, coming here since, you know, the 60s. And so I want to talk more about like the experience here. Like, so there's a reason why people keep coming back. Obviously, like the staff is great, but the food that you were just talking about towards the end there, like the consistency of it, the longevity of it, all that kind of stuff. So like, what's I almost said Doc's, Tony's Baltimore Grill best known for? Let's start there, and then we'll kind of pull it all together.
Definitely, our pizza is our number one seller. Obviously, it's a 12-inch pan pizza. We pan it out, and same pizza sauce same recipe we've been using forever, and we don't use shredded mozzarella. We use actually slices of mozzarella, so it's a little bit different style than other places use. But then this way, we don't have one pizza that's extra cheesy or one pizza that doesn't have enough cheese on it.
Yeah.
it's 7 slices of cheese, and they're cut the same way. So it's not like you're always going to get the same consistent amount of cheese on every pizza. And also, it just helps us with portions and how we get our pars for our P&L. So, like the pizza is definitely the one, and a lot of people didn't know that it was pan pizza, and then it is pan. But then we slate it at the end. Like once it starts to crisp up on the top, we put it on the slate so the bottom gets a little crispier. And it's not like a Pizza Hut pan pizza.
Sure, yeah.
It's a much thinner pan. But they're all 12-inch. Everyone's like, oh, can I get a large pizza? Well, it's not really a large. It's a medium.
Yeah.
And they say, how many people does it feed? Well, it depends on the size of the person. If a person can eat a whole one or a half of one. I always say it's about one pizza is good for 2 people.
Yeah.
So a half a pizza is like 2 slices of a normal size boardwalk slice of pizza.
Right.
Our fried shrimp, we split it ourselves. We butterfly it ourselves. We peel it ourselves, and then we bread it ourselves. We use AC breadcrumbs. We take our Randall breadcrumbs, the Randall Bakery. They actually make our dough for us, too. It's our recipe, but they make it.
Yeah.
Our breaded scallops is a big one. Our roast beef. We tweaked the recipe about 3 years ago. My brother actually helped with that. And that's been a huge seller. Like we were making them like a roast beef every other day or every 2 days. Now we're making them like every day or sometimes 2 in a day just for the next day because we're just ripping through it.
Yeah.
But then like our house salad, is like one of our top selling salads. It's for 2. Comes with lettuce, cucumbers, carrots, salami, provolone cheese, and onions, in our house dressing that we've been making.
Yeah.
And our anapasta salad is another number. Top seller that people love. But yeah, people love the pizza. I mean, our number one seller is obviously a cheese pizza, but most places their second best seller is a pepperoni pizza. Ours is our sausage pizza.
Yeah,
all sausage. It's our blend of sausage that we get right from the butcher shop right up the street, and it's crazy how like that's the second best, most popular pizza because a lot of people says it's pepperoni.
Right.
And our TBG special, it's a blend of our sausage and mushrooms on a cheese pie.
Yeah, you know what I think is really cool too, as you're talking about this stuff, like a couple of the things that you just talked about, like the breadcrumbs and the sausage and like that kind of stuff are all also local places.
Everything.
Which to me I think is really important, especially with like in a local, like you said, fabric of Atlantic City community. That's really important to make sure that you're connecting with those businesses too, and not just doing your own thing or sourcing it from someplace else.
Yeah, all our sausage comes from right up the street on Georgia Avenue. We get like I said, our bread comes from Rando and from Mika. We get it from both bakeries.
Yeah.
And a lot of our bread we do ourselves too. Like once we don't go through that much bread to keep up with the breadcrumbs.
For sure.
We do when we need them. We get them from the bakery. But yeah, everything is like local. We try to keep it right in town here. Our seafood comes from Cape May, so we keep that like also local.
Still Jersey.
Right. South Jersey.
Yeah.
And then our leftover bread, we were trying to figure out how we could use our leftover bread. Besides making breadcrumbs, what can we do to, whatever bread we have left over, what can we do to use that over again? And we started making our homemade bread pudding. And we call it AC bread pudding because it's AC bread.
Yeah.
And we came up with a caramel sauce recipe. One of the guys in the kitchen made it, and it was like, "Hey, let's try it."
That's cool.
And then, like, for the last year, it's like we're making one every day just to get through, because we can't keep it in.
Yeah.
So we used to just have cheesecake or some kind of chocolate cake would come in, but now it's like cheesecake or AC bread pudding. And it's really taken off. And we actually introduced it to people like, "Hey, here's a piece of bread pudding. Give it a try. Like, let us know."
Yeah.
And now they're coming back and they're eating it.
For sure.
So, and when ordering it. So, I had some friends come in Thursday night, actually, from Ocean City, and I gave them a piece for the table. There was 6 people. I said, "Here, try this." And they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's so good. I'll just come back just for that."
Yeah.
Because it was so good.
Yeah.
But, and we're proud of all the things that we do and what we're known for. But it's also introducing some new things. And it's not like we just started with a lasagna like a couple months ago. Introducing that to people, and they can get a piece of lasagna and a house salad for $20, $19.99. So it's like, we still keep the same menu, but we added some things just to, spruce it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Chicken parm, before we got here, was just chicken tenders and in a parm. Now we actually use a chicken cutlet.
Yeah.
And we still have the chicken tender parm because some people, that's all they've ever had. That's all they want is a chicken tender parm.
Go with what you know kind of thing. Yeah.
So, but now the chicken cutlet we can't, it's like crazy. Like this last week, it was like, we were blowing it out. I'm like, what's going on? Like people are catching on that we've now have this in, and now they want it.
Yeah.
So it's been really good for, everyone that all these things are coming together and they're ordering different things now. So
yeah, that's gotta be an interesting experience too. Cause like we were just talking about like, I guess like when someone else owned it and like changed like a bunch of stuff or like the food wasn't as consistent, then like adding some things to the menu also, like that must be like an interesting kind of balance, again, to like take a menu that's like worked for so well for so long and then like let's add something else, because there are places like I mentioned Donkey's Place before, which is out in Camden. Like they've been doing the exact same thing for like 85 years. The menu has stayed exactly the same. It's just cheesesteaks and like stuffed peppers, and that's it. But then you guys are like adding stuff, which I still the stuff that you're adding obviously still fits to the whole, what you would expect from a place like this,
right?
Yeah,
and it's those people were afraid that we're going to change everything. We're going to take away from the menu. We're going to add all these things, and you wanted to keep the same menu.
Yeah,
we just wanted to make it consistent, and a lot of like. Some of these guys that have been here for a long time with recipes, they could do it by eye, they could do it by sight because they did it for so long.
Sure,
but it's not the same. Like the one batch of sauce might be different from the next day. Now the one batch of sauce from Monday is going to be the same batch of sauce from Tuesday because it was made the same way with the same ingredients, the same measurements. So that's really helped with the consistency of the food going out, and that's what people want.
Yeah,
they want to have, if they order spaghetti and meatballs. They want spaghetti and meatballs to taste the same way that they had the last time they were here.
Yeah.
And a buddy of mine from Brigantine, he said, he's like, the marinara sauce is so good. Like, what is it? And I said, it's just consistency.
Yeah.
He goes, but it was so bad for a few years now. Like, we can't stop ordering it. We can't stop having it. I said, it's following the recipe. He's like, what's the recipe? I was like,
well, you can't tell. Yeah, come on, dude. Yeah. So the other thing that I wanted to ask about was, so on the menu there was this like the TBG experience, I think it is.
Yeah.
And that looked really cool. So I wanted to talk about that because that's something that like I would definitely order.
Right, and that's part of the experience is about Anthony Bourdain's experience. So it starts out with a salad. You can pick either an antipasta salad or a house salad.
Yeah.
So either of those two. Then you can get so you get a side of spaghetti with a meatball, and then you can pick one of the 4 entrees. And I believe it's all sausage pizza, Clams Casino pizza, a fried shrimp platter, and I'm drawing a blank on the 4th one.
It's pretty good. You're crushing so far.
And then you get coffee, tea, and dessert, and it includes you get a house wine or a draft beer. It's $39.99, I believe.
Yeah,
you can't beat it. It's like it's enough. It's everyone at the table has to order it because there's no sharing, obviously.
Right.
But it's picked up this last 6 months now where people say, hey, this is a great deal, and you can't really beat it. You're getting a draft beer or a wine. You figure that's $5, and then you get a salad. You're getting that's $12. You're getting a side of spaghetti and meatballs. That's like $7. It's up, and you're like,
it's like a 4-course meal for like $40.
Yeah, you're saying
plus a drink.
Correct.
Yeah,
and you're saving like $20 on the whole experience. So,
yeah,
but we introduced that the last time. I think it was 2022. We started that when we changed the look of our menus.
Yeah.
Which was interesting because people are like, oh, I can't read this. It's different. It's
just
different branding.
It still works.
It's still the way. It's just a little bit different branding, and it's a little bit easier to have just one piece, one thing to just turn over.
Yeah.
So it's not overwhelming.
Yeah. The Clams Casino pizza sounds really interesting and wild.
Yeah, I mean, and it's crazy how many we go through too because it's our white clam sauce, and then we put the pecorino on top of that, and then we put the mutts, and then it's just green peppers, onions, and bacon, and it's really, really tasty. Like I'm not a big clam guy, but I tried it, and I'll eat it all the time.
Yeah, right.
It's so good.
Yeah,
but that's a big seller. It's one of our specialty pizzas. We have about 10 specialty pizzas that we do.
Yeah.
That named after people or people have created.
For sure.
Like the if kind of thing. We have a spaghetti pizza.
Right, yeah, because that's like on the sign outside.
Right.
As spaghetti pizza.
And somebody came in asking for a spaghetti pizza, and they were like, "What? What are you talking? We don't have spaghetti pizza. It's spaghetti or pizza or seafood, or like roast beef." Like, so the guy just created this. The guy Fred that I was talking about.
Yeah.
He said, "All right." So he panned out a dough. He put spaghetti on it. Put our spaghetti sauce on top. Put more cheese on it, and then they said, "You want meatballs?" And they're like, "Yeah, put meatballs." So now we have a spaghetti pizza. You can get it with meatballs or sausage, and then we put a dough on top of it.
Okay.
And then we put some garlic powder on top, and then it's heavy as anything, but it tastes like you're eating spaghetti meatballs or garlic bread.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, and it's but it's enough to feed a few people.
I can imagine. I've had something like that before, like in a different place, but
Right.
Yeah, it'll fill you up
For sure.
For sure. Okay, the last thing that I want to talk about, like as we kind of go through like the experience here, because we're doing this before I guess the kitchen's open, but the bar is open 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
So take me through like that. Explain that to the people.
So when the casinos opened in the 70s, it was like they had this 24-hour liquor license, and then the local establishments were like, well, we have to close down, and you have these 24-hour liquor licenses here. Like, that's not, so they had to grant them to all the local businesses that wanted to have a 24-hour liquor license. And I think there's 3 or 4 places that have it in the city.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, so the bar never closes. It's always open. We have 3 shifts of bartenders come through, and then the kitchen is open up 11 a.m. every day, or the dining room, I should say. You can get food from 11 a.m. Sundays and through Thursdays from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. And on Fridays and Saturdays till 3 a.m. Now, on Sunday through Thursday, we have a limited menu from midnight to 2 a.m.
Okay.
Just because we like, we don't have the staff to have a full menu 7 days a week. The goal is to have the full menu. Before COVID, the kitchen was open 11 a.m. to 3 a.m. every day.
Yeah.
Full menu, you had a full staff going. But now that, staff is not as there's not as many people that want to work.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, right.
Like
everyone's feeling that.
Yeah. So like, it's hard enough to have 2 guys stay here from till 2 a.m. and then to have the 3 a.m. It's just to have a full menu. It's just tough to have it 7 days right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's the goal. The end goal is like our sign on the wall by the restrooms. Bar 24 hours, kitchen 11 a.m. to 3 a.m. and that's that's where we want to be.
Yeah, that's really cool. That was I think I walked into the Irish pub the other day, and that's another 24-hour spot. Yeah. And when I was like, the bartender was explaining like when the kitchen and like even this, like like 11 to 4 a.m. and I was like 4 a.m. Like that's like to me as that's such like a foreign concept almost, but it's like, but I totally understand like where like the way that you explained it makes so much sense.
Right. So that plus you have all the shifts in the casino. So a lot of the places, a lot of people leave the casino in their shifts, and then it's like now it's their dinner time when it's like people are sleeping.
Yeah.
They just got done, they're having dinner or the late night dinner or a late night snack, and you're not ready to go home and go to bed yet.
Sure.
So
like wind down a little bit.
Yeah. So like it's a lot of industry people late night, and then it's also people that there's nothing open, so they're like, oh, let's go get something. Let's go over to pizza. Like I had friends in town. They are from this area, but they moved to Philly with their jobs, and they just came in. They were like, oh, it's 2:00. Where can we get food? And they're like, oh, let's go to Tony's real quick. So they came here, got some pizza. But,
awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then hopefully, like I said, like the goal is to be open full menu till 3 a.m. like we used to be. But until then, we still have a late night, and we're still open till 2 a.m. in the kitchen. So.
Yeah. No, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, this has been great. I really appreciate you doing this with us and sitting down and talking. You were great. If people want to like learn more, like what are some places that they can go to, like website, social handles?
So our Instagram and our Facebook page is Tony's Baltimore Grill. Our Instagram is way more interactive.
Sure.
Because it's easier on Instagram.
Yeah.
Facebook has a lot of things where you can't interact as much with people. It's like, because it's a business. So, but Instagram, Facebook, we have a Twitter. I don't know if some people still use Twitter, but I know that was a big thing before, but not as much now. But our Instagram is definitely
the spot. For sure.
Check our stories out. And like I said, we like to promote people in the industry, people that are our customers, friends, relatives, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's what we feel like our staff is our friends and our relatives and our customers.
Yeah.
That's what we want to treat them as.
Absolutely. And I'm a big fan of the merch. Like, there's literally no way where I'm walking out of here without some. So
yeah, we have T-shirts, hats, ashtrays, rolling papers.
Yeah.
You know, it's just great. Whatever. Little change purses like when you were a kid. It's just, you know, little knickknacks that people love, and they just want something to take home with them from here. So yeah, that's been once. We only used to have like hoodies, I think, back before.
And the hoodies are dope. Like, they're awesome. Like, I saw them on the website and I saw them up here. But yeah, it's cool.
So we have the hoodies, we have the T-shirts, we have some couple artists that we collab with that, you know, a portion of every T-shirt that we sell or tank top we sell, they get a portion of that.
Cool.
Just to support the local arts. Yeah. Like our Union Hall next door, Union Hall Arts. It's a space for the community, even though it's inside of our walls or whatever. But it's a place where people can come, share their towns, show their towns. We just had a pizza box show last month. Cool. Where everyone took our pizza boxes and created something. Some people, painted. Some people formed it into different things. Somebody made a leather box out of the box. It's crazy. Yeah. A leather pizza. But there's so many creative people around the city, and just a way to express themselves and to come together. They have that space to do that.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
It's really cool.
That is really cool. I love that. Like, I love all the collaborations type stuff because, you know, like this city, like the rising tides thing, you know, is definitely something that personally, you know, I don't live here, but I think that's like an important thing because like you have these places like this place that have been here for so long and kind of have gone through all the seasons of the city and all that kind of stuff, and just are like a good way to show what can be, you know, here. Yeah. So, Joe, again, thank you so much. Yeah, no problem. I appreciate it. So we'll make sure that we put the website and the social handles in the show notes so people could just go click it, go check it out, and then the next time they're down here, make sure you come down to Tony's Baltimore Grill. I'll also make sure I put greetingsfromthegardenState.com, which is the website for the show, in the show notes, so you can come and check that out. This episode and all of our other episodes. So this has been the Greetings from the Garden State podcast. I'm Mike Ham. We were here at Tony's Baltimore Grill in Atlantic City, New Jersey with Joe Palumbo. Thank you for listening, and we will catch you next time.